Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to pitch my 6 reasons why I believe The Walking Dead TV show should have already ended. Now before everyone jumps on my back, I want to state that I am going to make a sister video to accompany this one, which will give reasons why I think the show should continue indefinitely into the future. Anyway, back to the topic at hand, let's not waste any more time and get straight to reason number 1. Number 1. It's jumped that shark. It's inevitable that a show that has been running for 7 seasons would end up looking a lot different from when it started out. However, what's strange about The Walking Dead is that at present it's pretty much unrecognisable when compared with how it looked just a couple of years ago. The show has gone from being a gritty survival themed program to one that almost borders on self-parody. I mean, think about this for a minute. The Walking Dead is now home to a guy who talks to a baseball bat, a dude who goes by the title of King and has a pet tiger, a weird junkyard group who can't even talk in proper English, and a seaside tribe who wouldn't look out of place in Disney's Moana. The show hasn't just jumped the shark, oh no, it's jumped the shark and rode off into another galaxy to go fight some aliens. I understand that a lot of the material on the show at the moment is ripped straight from the comic books, but that doesn't make any of it seem less stupid. In short, it seems that the longer the show is going to go on, the more dumb it's going to become. Number 2, no real objective. I've seen The Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman describe his franchise as a never-ending zombie story many times before. What Kirkman essentially means by this is that the narrative of The Walking Dead isn't really concerned with its protagonists finding a cure to the zombie plague or saving the world. Instead, it's just focused on their everyday struggle to survive. Whilst this may work in the form of a comic, I feel that a show without a real objective or end goal is always going to struggle to keep its audience interested over a long period of time. The Walking Dead seems to be stuck in this cycle of introducing a new threat or villain, having Rick and his group overcome said villain, only to then introduce another threat or villain ad nauseum. With no end to the Walker apocalypse in sight, all The Walking Dead can do is have Rick triumph over different villains over and over again. Something that after 7 seasons is getting rather tedious. Number 3, few enduring characters left on the show. With the death of Abe and Glenn at the hands of Lucille, The Walking Dead lost 2 of its arguably most well-loved and likeable characters. With so many cast members coming and going since the show's introduction, it's hard to become attached to any new characters when knowing that they may not be around for very long, which in turn means that there isn't currently many people on the show left that I actually care about. In addition, with the quality of writing being of questionable quality of late, with characters doing things that don't really make any sense, I'm even finding it difficult to really give a shit about some of the characters which I was previously quite fond of. Obviously, all this has a knock-on effect on my enjoyment of the show. I mean, if I don't really care about any of the people that I'm watching, then is there really any point of watching at all? Number 4, Oversaturated Market. The Walking Dead is currently everywhere, and unless you've been living under a rock, it's kind of impossible not to be aware of this behemoth product. There's multiple video games based on the franchise, a spin-off show, a Comic-Con-like convention, as well as various board games and other random merchandise. It's hard not to feel a little burnt out due to how much Walking Dead related content there currently is available. What may have seemed new and interesting a couple of years ago has quite frankly been milked to death, with similar themes and stories that have already been presented in the show being retold once again in novels and video games. In a way, The Walking Dead has become a victim of its own success, with the show becoming less unique because of this. Number 5, show quality is on a decreasing trend. There's no doubt about it, the last 2 seasons of The Walking Dead have been a bit of a mess, with boring episodes devoted entirely to one character, dodgy writing and extremely slow pacing being a common occurrence. Although it can be argued that The Walking Dead has always been a bit inconsistent in regards to its quality, it's never been consistently as bad as it is now. And to be honest, there's little to suggest that things are going to get any better, especially when, in my opinion, 2 of the show's worst characters in Enid and Janice have been confirmed as regulars for the upcoming season. Hooray. Unfortunately, this show seems to be on something of a downward spiral, and it may have made sense to quit whilst it was ahead. They missed the perfect time to end the show. When taking the last few seasons into account, I honestly believe that the ideal point to end the show would have been when Rick pulled up outside Alexandria for the first time. Now there's a couple of reasons why I believe this is the case. Firstly, in my opinion, the show's quality started decreasing dramatically as soon as Rick entered Alexandria. Since Rick and co have settled at the community, things have become rather stale, and it's no coincidence that some of my favourite episodes of the programme occurred when Rick was on the road after the prison collapse, which is the complete antithesis of where the show is now. My second reason why I believe this moment would be a perfect way to end the show requires me to go into the scene in a bit more detail, When Rick arrives upon the gates of the community, it's important to remember everything he'd been through previously. He was forced to kill his best friend, he settled in 2 different places and both went to complete shit, his wife had died giving birth, he overcome the governor at a great cost, he managed to escape from a group of cannibals and eventually kill them, and he also bit out a dude's jugular after seeing someone attempt to rape his son. It's fair to say that Rick had been through a hell of a lot by this point, but his goal of finding his son and his people a safe place to stay remained his #1 priority. As Rick's car slowly advances towards the outside walls of Alexandria, we see a close-up of Rick as he hears children playing in the background behind the walls. After everything he had gone through, finally he had found somewhere safe to stay. Finally, there was a glimmer of hope. In all honesty, I would be completely satisfied if this was the point the show had ended. I'd seen Rick experience enough pain and grief at this point to be okay with seeing him have a happy ending, even if it was a slightly ambiguous one at that. So there you have it, my 6 reasons why I believe The Walking Dead should have already ended. As always, thank you very much for watching, let me know your thoughts below, and until next time, goodbye.